At its peak, over 100,000 people moved into the area each year. But after its burst of prosperity in the late 20th century, the city was abandoned even faster than it rose. What could have made the residents of Phoenix turn their backs on such a huge investment?
The archaeologists may find the broken remnants of the motels and tract houses in Phoenix, and they'll put two and two together and realize, oh my God, these people created a city of millions in a region of North America that can't possibly support a population that large. They had these fantastic schemes for bringing huge volumes of water hundreds of miles, and they had this thing called air conditioning, which made it possible for people to sleep at night.
In the concrete bowels of the city, the future investigators could identify the key to its expansion: a constant flow of cheap energy and water. They follow the city's water supply to its source, scanning for weaknesses in the system. The labyrinth of pipelines leads to other cities and farmland, all tapping into the same supply. Hundreds of miles away, they reach the source. Our massive engineering schemes turned the region's wild rivers into electricity for millions of homes. Behind these dams, we stored enough water to support 20 million people. But from the watermarks in the canyons, investigators see that over many years, the levels of the reservoir were dropping. By the year 2010, the writing was already on the wall. These water sources allowed our desert cities to thrive, but they ran dry. Like the Anasazi, had we built for the good times, ignoring the risk of severe droughts?
What's so curious about human beings is that we can look deeply into the future, foresee disaster, and still do nothing in the present to stop it. The majority of people on this planet, they're overwhelmed with concerns about their immediate well-being.
In downtown Los Angeles, Jared Diamond sees the dilemma of his city's future water supply as he watches a colony of birds along the LA River.
There are a lot of barn swallows flying around here with forked tails. The biggest birds are two snowy egrets, and the best bird there is a stilt with long legs. They're somewhat endangered. This area, when it was natural stream, there would be hundreds of thousands of wetland birds here. And we've canalized it so that there are now just a few of the birds. Down here, this Los Angeles River looks like a brook. The trouble is there are lots of straws in the milkshake upstream.
As the population of Los Angeles County nears 11 million, California is faced with increasingly difficult choices about how to manage its water.
The birds may have the last laugh, because if there's not enough water and we give up on Los Angeles, the birds are going to come back and we're the ones who are going to lose.
scanning buried sections of a suburban neighborhood, scientists detect what look like water storage systems, perhaps a safeguard against drought. It appears that each family had a year's supply of drinking water in their backyard. But further excavations give the scientists new insight. When it came to our choices about water, we may have been living in a mirage.
There's no doubt that we're not letting Phoenix or Los Angeles go without a fight. We will use every trick at our disposal until they're just not inhabitable. There are people today who live in some awfully inhospitable environments and they call them home. But once we really run out of the basic resources we need to sustain human life, those cities become ghost towns.
Upstream from Los Angeles, in California's Central Valley, drought and increasing competition for water is forcing farmers to make painful decisions. At a single farm near the town of Huron, they're ripping up 90,000 trees, turning $18 million worth of almond orchards into mulch.
This is an incredibly difficult decision for us to make. You know, this is kind of like our Sophie's choice. We have to decide which of the crops that we've been nurturing all these years we need to destroy. And unfortunately, when we look at our return per acre foot of water, we don't have enough water to sustain them, so we got to kill them.
In the 1950s, Californians transformed this valley, from desert scrub to a Garden of Eden. The diversion of water through hundreds of miles of man-made aqueducts created one of the most productive farming regions in the world. But now a burgeoning water crisis is transforming this billion-dollar landscape yet again.
I can't think of a farmer in the area that has trees like us that aren't pulling some of his trees out right now and grinding them up. Those that have invested greatly in drip irrigation or in wells probably stick it out longer than others that haven't.
With a single almond tree guzzling up to 100 gallons of water a day, farmers like Wolf are adapting by planting less thirsty crops. As drastic as it seems, many experts think these hard decisions are exactly what's needed to hold on to California's farmland. The limited water supply is causing prices to skyrocket, instigating a fierce battle between cities like Los Angeles and California's lucrative agribusiness. Some farmers are making money by choosing not to grow food at all. Instead, they're cashing in by selling off water allocations. Many farmers gamble their savings to drill deeper and deeper into underground aquifers in hopes of striking blue gold. But like the California gold rush of a century and a half ago, many fear the bonanza will be short-lived.
We've been real busy. As fast as we can drill them, they want us to drill another one. That'll work. The rigs have got a whole lot bigger than they used to be, and we're doing that to try to accommodate going and getting the deeper water. We're gonna drill this well to 2,400 foot and see how it looks, and then we'll decide the total depth after that. I'm sure pumping the water is taking a toll. We're pulling a lot of water out of the ground. If the water table gets low enough, it's going to have to end.
Drilling may buy farmers more time, but in the long run, if droughts persist, much of this agricultural Eden could turn back to desert. On the outskirts of an abandoned California suburb, future investigators come across strange cracks in the desert. Probing the depths of a fissure, they find highly compressed layers of soil, evidence that the region's underground aquifers have been depleted. Overpumping had caused the land to sink and fracture. Many of the Earth's ancient aquifers, which can take thousands of years to replenish, were being sucked dry. As a result, the ground underneath some of our biggest cities had sunk by over 30 feet. Already, around the world, competition over water is stirring up trouble. In January of 2000, violent protests erupt in Bolivia as the public fights back against the privatization of their local water supply. On every inhabited continent, there is increasing conflict over this precious commodity.
Water has been one of the prime factors that has destroyed civilizations in the past. There is talk that one of the first water wars, if there is one, may be between Turkey and Syria and Lebanon and Israel. There's also a big water problem brewing in Southeast Asia. It's only a matter of time before there's not going to be enough water to feed more than half of the world's people.
But in all the turmoil of the water crisis, Diamond sees a silver lining. Many cities are coming to grips with the true cost of wasting water, a reality check that may help avert an Anasazi-style disaster.
The city of Los Angeles just ordered us to water only on Tuesdays and Fridays. And if I choose to water on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, my water bill will go sky high. In order to have a happy future in Los Angeles or Phoenix, we have to gear our water policies to the occasional dry years rather than to all the wet years. There are societies in the past that did that, and they've been going on for thousands of years. Whereas societies that geared their policies to the good years, when the dry years came, they got clobbered, like the Anasazi. There were reasons for hope, because within the last few years, the combination of market forces and government regulation have really affected people's behavior. It really gets your attention when you have to write a $1,000 water bill instead of a $200 water bill.
But if the populations of our desert cities continue to grow, even frugal water use may only go so far. Centuries from now, evidence of a global water crisis could lead scientists to question